All right, thank you, everyone. Hopefully everyone enjoyed their snack and had a chance to go out and see some of the booths that eGain's going on here. So again, my name is Kurt Van Dyn Hoven. I am from Lands' End. What you see up here is a good representation of the sort of products that we sell. I personally am wearing 100% everything Lands' End. You have to take my word about my undergarments and that one, but so a few things about Lands' End. It's 56 years old. It's an iconic brand that does, casual clothing. We have a history of innovation. And one key call out that you think you'd find interesting, we've been doing chat since 1999. We have 30 years of doing chat. We have many examples of innovation that we've done over the year, and we'd like to feel that we're leaders of trying to provide better customer experiences through digital channels. We also pride ourselves, and you can see in the box there, America's Best Customer Service. We regularly are recognized within the industry as being one of the premier customer service companies in the United States for retail. So a few quick tidbits for you. We're a $1.5 billion operation. We're multi-channel, meaning we have our own retail stores, e-commerce site, we have phone, chat, email, SMS, pretty much every channel you can think of, we're integrated into it. We have international businesses. We're both B2B and B2C. And from the operations that I run, which is all of customer care operations, we have about 9 million contacts that come through per year. Just gives you a little bit of understanding about the business. So I also want to share with you the footprint that we have with eGain. So here's a little bit of an eye chart, but it gives you an understanding at the top are the various business units, being B2C, B2B, Germany, and UK. And we're talking about, in terms of, I think it's a nice way to visualize it when we look at it, what are the sort of solutions we have at eGain that help us with expense control, revenue, and brand and reputation. So we have a really great representation of the eGain tools across our enterprise, starting from chat to chat deflection. Chat deflection is as simple as if you try to reach us in chat, that whatever your context of the chat is, it'll be bounced up against a knowledge repository, and we will try to answer your question without even extending it to the chat. We have about 15% of chats are answered that way. You look at proactive chat rules, we leverage that, email. We have a web self-service search, so I'm going to show you a little illustration of it a little bit later. And then we've added some new things, which is essentially going to be the focus of the conversation here today. What are some new things we're doing to improve our digital experience for customers? And that comes in a form of guided help, a new help center, a virtual assistant, and an internal reference handbook. I'm going to give you very practical examples of how we're leveraging these capabilities to improve our business. So before I do that, we're going to talk about what are some of the key customer experience trends that we are seeing. I'll cover them. Mobile first. We know that our business and our customers are voting. They're voting about how they're coming to us by their devices of choice. And that device of choice is increasingly, now it's over 50%, they're hitting us via their mobile device. They're doing a lot of it for searching, and sometimes they would search and buy in another device, but increasingly it's becoming their choice of mode for transaction. So everything we do, we design for mobile first. Speed matters, the next thing. The ability on your e-commerce sites to have them be exceptionally fast and be responsive to the customer makes a big difference in their ability to continue to stay executing with you. We know, and we can quantify it, that when our site doesn't perform up to expectations, that they will vacate the site and we're going to lose that business. What that also means is partners, such as eGain, they have to be able to match the speed requirements we need to be competitive. Ease of use. We've heard a lot about it in all the presentations prior to myself. It makes extremely important that everything is built and designed from the point of view of the customer to drive their ease of use and reduce effort. And part of that ease of use is self-service. Customers are increasingly letting us know that their first choice is to come to our .com experience, try to get the answers that they're looking for, and if they can't find it, then they're reaching out to the phone channels, chat, SMS, and so forth. So we're trying to meet them where they want to be, and self-service is one of the things that definitely drives that. And then the human touch. It's a balance of that. So we are letting them help decide for our business what makes most sense. And for us, being the great customer experience we've always known, people have grown to expect the ability to connect with us in a human component. If you mentioned Ian talking earlier that humans are a key component to everything that we're trying to accomplish, it's very true for Land's End as well, and we'll make every experience we have an easy way to extend to that human touch as well. So in order for us to help move the needle forward and be more digitally engaged, we created a proof of concept with eGain. And this is going to be the focus of our conversation, talking about this proof of concept, and I'm going to show you exactly what we built and designed with them. So the key benefits that the goal we want to do is empower customers with more self-service and empower customer care agents with improved knowledge tools. So some of the key benefits that we had is a digital customer experience. We want to honor what the customers are looking for, and they're coming to us more and more in the digital channels. We also want to reduce that customer effort. So it's not just put it out there, hope they come and that they like it. It actually has to be respective of what they're trying to do and reduce their effort. And we're trying to reduce operating costs at the same time. Now, those first three, they all come together if you do it right. You can actually improve the experience, have more self-service, reduce your operating costs, and you're not compromising one or the other. So that's the importance of, if you do it right, you can get the benefits of all three of them. And if you do it too, you want to make sure you have consistency across channels. That's a benefit you have. Channels can be between your online, your back-end calls, chat, SMS, emails, all having one central place where you get the same knowledge and information across all these channels. And it has to be an enterprise solution. You've already seen the slide where I showed the footprint that eGain has B2B, B2C, international, and other operations. When you bring solutions in, you got to make sure they're fit for the enterprise and not just one part of your business, and you're not getting the full business value that you're looking for. And the last time is key benefits. We want to enable the business to be more empowered, be more responsive to what's happening with the business. So let me give you an illustration of what that may be to be more responsive. We do a lot of email promotions, and those promotions or promotions codes are created, and there's humans involved in that event, and sometimes a human could make a mistake in a promotion. Well, as soon as that mistake has happened, it's out in the hands of the customer, they're going to be calling, chatting, emailing, messaging, this promotion isn't working for us. If you have the right tools in place that empower you, you can then recognize the problem is there, you can create content with the right information that says, sorry, we made a mistake, here's the right promotion code, you publish that up, it's on all the different channels you have. It can be on your .com site, it's with your agents, and everyone has that information, and you literally could turn that around in probably 30 minutes. More times is how long it takes to create that content. So that's an example of how you can be empowered versus having, sitting there and say, I can't do anything, I can't promote it, I can't write copy, I can't get anything promoted to our website. So some of the details that we pursued in order to move forward with this is we wanted to have a cloud-driven solution. We wanted to have it, and this is a key count, limited IT effort. So what I'm going to show you in a little bit is all a built-out experience that involved hardly any IT effort, a key point. We wanted to have a flexible user interface that it could be designed and built upon based on our branding experience. And then mobile first, which I already mentioned. And what I'm going to do is a three-part proof of concept. One was an online help center for our landsend.com experience, our virtual agent, and then our agent knowledge. And what we're going to do is, I could have showed you a bunch of slides about the content, what we have. What I actually did is I showed you, I created a video that I'm going to narrate over that has the live interaction with these tools. So for one, you can see how they really react. I'm going to compare them. Our existing legacy solution to the new one we designed, so you can see the kind of the A/B effect of it. And then you can see how fast and responsive these solutions are. So with this, I'm going to move on to, right here this is the exact actual landing page of landsend.com. So you can see we're going to go up to the customer service solution. And here is our existing customer service page. You can see we got all the context on the left about the most commonly asked areas that people are going to look at. You're also going to notice that it's very contextual, the whole page. There's just a lot of information that's not all that aesthetically pleasing, nor all that useful if you're on a mobile device. This find and answer fast is where the eGain search widget is. This is actually served by eGain to enable us to get content. If I put in returns there, you can see a bunch of return articles come back quickly. So this is helpful for us to get access to articles, but what we're finding in this legacy sort of solution, this wasn't good enough for us yet. And I want to give you an illustrated example that I'm going to run through my whole speech here, is that on returns, which is the #1 reason people come to customer service, if you had returns, you'd select US here. And this is the experience you're going to get right now today. You're going to get a bunch of context that you as a customer have to read. This is not considered easy to me, or hopefully to most of you, that you have to read it and then figure out what is the part that most it's relevant to the question I have. So this requires more effort upon the customer, and we want to improve upon that. In fact, I can also tell you that there are scenarios about returns that aren't even covered in here because they're a bit too complex to include in here. So if you don't get the right answer, you're going to be calling us in one way or another or contacting us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, this is now the new improved version we created with eGain. So we're going to be switching over to what is now we call the Help Center. And you can see already it's visually much more appealing. It's easy, it's clean. You can see at the top there's a blue bar. That blue bar is our header. I'm going to scroll down here, and we're going to have what is the footer. The reason I'm pointing that out is because everything between that header and the footer is 100% delivered by eGain in an iframe. So everything you're looking at here is not going through Land's End. This is eGain is delivering this. So in here you got nice boxes, you have a search function, you have frequently asked questions, and you can an easy way to be able to navigate and get to help if you want it. Again, we always want to enable that human touch. Is extremely important. If you want to call or text right now, you can press that button, and if you're on your mobile device, it's one quick touch and you're talking to us right off the bat. Now we mentioned mobile, very important to us. So what we're going to do is I'm going to shrink this screen down now, and you can see what it looks like in responsive design. This is what our mobile customer is going to see. Big buttons, everything's easy to interact with their fingers. To get the answer is going to be exceptionally convenient for them on their devices. And this is again, mobile first is how we designed this, the look and feel from here. I'm going to show you desktop because it's a little bit easier for presentation purposes. So an example I used earlier, we talked about returns, the #1 reason people interact with us in our customer service. What you're going to notice is that you get options here. This is called guided help from eGain. This enables you to take something that's fairly complex, and you can boil it down by asking a series of questions. In this particular case, the first thing is, what are you trying to do? In this particular example, we're going to work ourselves to do an exchange and refund. So one of the benefits of having this is that it makes this much, much easier for the customer. The next question it's going to ask is, did you purchase? Have your proof of purchase, I should say. In this case, we're going to say yes. And how long has it been since you've made your purchase? 90 days or less. What do you notice here now? One clean, simple answer that we know is 100% accurate based on some clarifying questions. This is extremely important, trying to validate and prove the ease of use for the customer. They can open and close information and get different contexts. They can tell us whether it was useful or not. And if they still don't get it, they have the ability down below to type in questions about what they're looking for, in this case, returns. Now, I'll point out how fast that came back. This is real time. That is the response that we get. So that's part of the reason why I'm having this video, is to show you the responsiveness. I'm going to do another one talking about shipping. And this is going to be a US example of shipping, one click. I can bring you to a quick illustration of just what it meant to get the shipping. If I want to know the delivery times, I have the ability to extend it out. You're all retail customers. You could see yourself using this on your mobile device. It's really easy and simple to do. So with that, we didn't stop there. We also did a virtual assistant. So you look in the far left here is a little icon. Works exceptionally well on a mobile device too. This is going to open up a virtual assistant. What we're doing is we're exposing the same knowledge repository in a virtual assistant. It introduced itself as a virtual assistant, so you know what you're talking about. It has a menu of topics, same topics that are in the Help Center, so there's consistency. So as you go through, we're going to do the same example we did before around returns. So we scroll back here. I'm going to be able to select that. I want to look at returns. And in that example, you're going to see it come up with the same set of questions. You want to have a question about return location, exchange and refunds. You could slide over. You're going to see that you have the options for a return policy. So following the same theme we did before, we're going to do an exchange and refund. And the virtual assistant is going to continue to ask clarifying questions. Do you have proof of purchase? We're going to say, yes, we do have proof of purchase. And we're asked, did you have it since you made the purchase? It was 90 days or less. It was 90 days or less. And in this particular case, we're going to do it was more than 90 days. And it's going to give you an ability to quickly see an article that you can open up and get that one clean, simple response that you can then identify and understand what you need to do from a return perspective. So it's all about using consistency across the experience on a website and making it super easy for that customer to interact and get the answers that they're looking for. So I would think that hopefully you would agree the A/B I just showed you, there's a markedly improved experience we have. So as you come back to the VA, it's going to ask you, did you get the help you needed, yes or no? In this particular case, we're going to say that we still would like to get some additional help. It brings the menu back. And we're going to go down and do the shipping example that we did in the other one, just to illustrate a little bit deeper some of the capabilities. Again, it's going to use guided help. It's going to ask you what state or country do you want to get shipping on. In this case, we're going to say it was Canada. You're going to quickly get an answer relative to Canada. Didn't have to read a lot of context. You now know about what it is. You can expand it and see some of the other capabilities. So at any point in time, you can go back to the main help topic and select additional topics that you may need. Additionally, you have the ability to say, get in touch. This is a key part that we want to call out, and it's true to Lands' End, is we always want to enable you to have the ability to get in touch with someone. So we offer you a live chat, a call, SMS, or text messaging. In this case, we'll say that we want to call. And then we open it up. If you're on a mobile device, you just hit that number. You're talking to us in seconds. So it's an easy way to get that help. It's always present. It's always there for you to be able to interact with. So a few other callouts if you have here is that, in this particular case, we had all helped them out, so we no longer need any additional help. It'll communicate to them that their information will be stored for 30 minutes within this session. They also have the ability to minimize this. And when they do it, it just persists on the page. It follows them through the whole journey. They can come back to it at any point they want, and everything that they had been doing will still be there. Now, the other thing is this information, if they would go to a chat, all that information from the VA would be brought and shared over with the chat agent. So that chat agent has perfect knowledge of everything they did with the VA. So they don't have to be redundant. Okay, so I'm going to move on now. We're going to move on to our internal reference handbook. This is our SharePoint site today. You can see it has a whole big long list of options on the left, up on the top. There's like 4 places you can do search. This has been designed over the years, and it's been serving us reasonably well, but we think we can do it slightly better. We're going to use an example that we used earlier around returns as well. And from this, I'll give you an illustration of just how the site works. So we look at returns. It's pretty much all a lot of data, a lot of context you have to read. So our goal here was, can we leverage the eGain solution with the same knowledge that we're using for VA and for the LE.com and repurpose that knowledge in a way that provides a nice, easy, clean interface for our users. So this is what we came up with. It has a much more streamlined list of contexts on the left-hand side. It provides a prominent place to do search, because we know search is the most effective for us. So we want encourage our agents to leverage search capabilities. You can bring up other topics around guided help. In this particular case, we're going to do similar to what we did before. We're talking about returns. This comes in. You can see the type ahead capabilities. And you can select that return a topic that you want. You're going to get a whole list of articles that come up. Again, this is real time, the speed of the application that we're showing. We can filter it out. We can create any type of custom filters we want to make this data be more intelligent and smart for us. We can change it by topics. It gives you much more refined capabilities and make it easier for the agent to find the right information. And this shows some of the context. In this particular case, you get a nice short little snippet of data as well. We could have used a guided help in this scenario too. We actually do have one for internal agents, but I just want to show you different ways in which the user interface is going to operate. Sometimes search is the most effective way to get the information. Guided help can be at other times as well. All right, so with that being said, I think you've had a good illustration of some really important things that we've been trying to do. Now I want to kind of move into next part of the slides and talk about, as we rolled out these new applications, one of the things I can tell you is this show and tell that I've done with you, I've been doing with our executive team as well. As we try to build these out as a proof of concept, I would literally put the old and the new next to each other and say, hey, can you firsthand visually agree with me this is a better experience? And you know what, by the way, this is the sort of monies we'd need to prove to go forward and the return that we're going to have. So this works exceptionally well when you do these sort of test and learn or proof of concepts, that you can actually have that visual working application to get approval to move forward. Going into the efforts before, as part of the initial setup for the proof of concept, we knew that we had to have strong testing and ability to validate our results. So just for the landsend.com approach alone, we had 5 separate ways that which identified day one up front what we're going to do. Usertesting.com, literally getting live feedback from external users. Adobe Analytics, knowing in a quantifiable way how people are interacting with the tools, what they're doing before and afterwards, and have the ability to substantiate some of the results. Session cam analysis. This is a tool that allows us to record. Think about a video recording. We can see live how they're interacting with the tools. We can see where the mouse is going. We know what they did before and afterwards. So it gets you that really good, clean view as to what that experience is like. We're doing contact and disposition analysis. The business case would say as we improve our self-service, we should have fewer contacts. So we monitor the primary ones like returns, who I talked about in the example, shipping. How are we seeing that those contacts are going down? And then eGain Analytics. It's part of the tool. It knows every article that we're interacting with. It understands the search capabilities. You need to be on top of these things and keep refining it. So these are all things that you know you have to be up on top of up front and be straightforward about. So from a reference handbook, again, this is for our internal agents, we did a very controlled test. Controlled in the sense that we created 15 use case scripts, and we said, do the exact same script on the old and in the new, and we basically did a time study. Stop and start. And we noticed that there's a 20-second improvement across these scripts between the old and the new. And then we did feedback, a survey for everyone who was part of our test, and we said, for findability, on a 5-point scale, what would you rate it? And we had a 37% increase in findability, confidence in data, 18%, consumability, 30%, and so forth. You can see we had, by getting the voice of the agents involved, what sort of improvements and what they thought about the use of the tool between the old and the new. So these are things that you can do that are very quantifiable and actually quite easy to execute. So some best practices and lessons learned. Start slow. Walk, crawl, run. We hear it all the time. Let's go back to the virtual assistant as an example. If you remember the virtual assistant, it was all driven by a menu. It was all curated data based on what we know are the topics they're most likely to interact with. You did not see a conversation in our virtual assistant. Why? Because we had to start slow. We weren't ready to open it all up to every question in the world that the customer would likely have. And it wasn't because the technology couldn't do it. Clearly, the technology could. You have to assess, as part of your organization, how well are you prepared with all the knowledge content? How well are you prepared with the resources that can handle the workload to do all that? So we went very purposeful to start slow with information we knew with a high level of confidence that when they interact with that VA, the VA is going to give them something of value and good results. If you put something out there and you chew it off too much, they interact with it, they have a crappy experience, that's it. They're never coming back to it again. That thing you may as well just chalk off for some people because it's a one try and that's done. So start slow. We will introduce some of those other capabilities soon, but we're going to do it in a very thoughtful way. And that kind of relates to do your homework. Understand how your customers interact with you. Understand what are the high volume touch points, where are the pains coming from, how they interact with your customer care operations. So we knew all our touch points, we know from analytics how they interact on the website, and we can craft a very curated and purposeful experience with the VA. Measurement, we talked about it, doing all the testing up front, making sure you have it thought out as to what your KPI is going to be, how you're going to measure it, and validate the results. And you got to know that kind of going into it so you have a better chance of winning on the back end. And then promote. This may be a strange one, but this does relate to if you're buying solutions such as eGain, and you're trying to position it, as I said up front, which is one of the goals, to be enterprise. The only way you get it enterprise is you got to start with some place that's going to pioneer it, do proof of concepts, and then you've got to champion it and go out to your peers and partners and organizations and say, hey, look what I've done. This is a cool experience of being able to drive. I think you could do this as well. We have the relationship with eGain and contracts in place that allow you to use it. You have to promote and champion it. Otherwise, what happens, and I see it time and time again, it just dies in one area, and everyone ends up with a lot of point solutions. So next steps with us, particularly with us on eGain, is we're going to expand upon the virtual assistant. We'll do the interactive VA, having artificial intelligence and the assistants in there, and we'll do have a really good approach to expanding its capability of answering more questions. We want to extend the VA capabilities to Facebook. We want to have channel expansion to our B2B partners and international. We're also working on Apple Business Chat right now. So I would think in another month or so, we will probably be up and running and have some good use cases with Apple Business Chat. We know we'll interact with integration some more. I told you up front, everything that you just seen had very little IT effort. So you should say, well, that's pretty cool. They're able to do quite a bit with having hardly any IT engagement. But with that, we didn't bring in any integrations or any things that'll help us build out some other additional use cases. But you can get better and take that first step, even if you don't have many resources at place. And we'll keep moving forward. Guided help, we'll keep introducing more of them. And we got eGain Journey Analytics that eGain brings to the table that can help us better understand how some of these tools are being used across our journeys. So that is my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. You can certainly feel free to reach out to me. I have a group of about 9 other Lands' End people here as well who have been very instrumental in, again, to creating all these experiences. So collectively between all of us, we can field all sorts of questions. So good luck and enjoy the rest of your conference. Thank you.